introduce you to the wonderful world of the sagittal plane. The ringing stroke is made up, you know what the planes are, right? I always get this confused, but I think I have it now. Horizontal, which in handbells you don't use unless you're a bass bell ringer or a soloist. The other one is vertical, right? Would we use the vertical plane in handbell ringing? Absolutely. And the other one that's very important that I didn't know about until a couple of years ago is called the sagittal plane. Sagittal means the space in front of you and behind you. I find over and over and over that more people don't make good use of the sagittal plane. Now, there won't be time, but I had quite an ordeal getting here last night, and then I got here and my room was locked because my roommate didn't know somebody was coming in, and there was the deadbolt on, et cetera, et cetera. So if I babble a little more than usual, Linda knows me. What?
Did you sleep in the hall?
I almost slept on the porch, but it was so humid, yes. But this is what I want to tell you. You're welcome to take notes. I do have a handout, and instead of printing them and then throwing half of them away at the end, my philosophy is email me and I will send it. It's very eco-friendly. So right now, before I forget, my email address is easy. Michael Joy. Anybody need to know how to spell? Michael is A-E-L, alphabetical order. Michael Joy at Comcast.net. Email me, say you were at Baylor and you want the handout for whatever class it is. All right? So, you just rang, you gave me some information, now I want you to do this. I'm going to give you some vocabulary words, and I want to see what those words mean to you. So, same chord again, C-E-G-B. I want you to punch. 1, 2, ready, and play. 2, 3, 4. Some questions about this later. So you got the idea of punch. That was, for my money, that's a pretty good punch. I almost never use that word with handbells. You'll find out later why. Let's do whole notes again. The word is glide. 1, 2, 3. Glide. This is the picture for glide. Lots of sagittal space. If that becomes too heavy, then your glide is more vertical than horizontal. Thank you. Now, the low bass below C4, just take a mental snooze for a moment. I want you to show me what dab looks like. The title of this session is Glide and Dab Your Way to Success, right? I'm going to introduce some terms to you that you may not have heard before. And I hope that by the time you leave here, you go, wow, I could really use that. All right, here we go. So, dab. You know the word dab? All right, then. All right, so for those in the crowd who are over 50, you know sponge painting? You take a sponge. My kids at school have no clue what sponge painting is. So I say it's like typing on a vertical keyboard. Like this, it's that kind of, look at my body, look what I'm doing. That's very different from this, isn't it? Very different. All right, so I want you to dab. 8 notes, 2 and 3 and 4 and. Thank you. So you have glide, you have dab. I'm going to try not to give you too much information. There's a man named Rudolf Laban, L-A-B-A-N. He was Hungarian. He studied how people moved, and he really, as far as I know, did never do anything with musicians. But he said, okay, the factory worker, the construction worker who hammers, the person, I'm going to say person because I iron too, the person who irons, what kind of motion is involved? And then the music world said, you know what, this could apply to conducting. And then somebody else, I love it when the light bulb goes on, somebody else whose name is Kim Strepka said, you know, this can apply to handbells also. So, let me introduce you just briefly to Laban's ideas. The opposite ends of the spectrum, there's sustained movement and there's quick movement and everything in between, all right? So the glide is a sustained movement. I think more ringers need to think about sustained movement, especially in certain kinds of music. Not all, but in certain kinds. So, there's sustained movement. The dab is quick. It's very quick. So he talked about that. He talked about how much force or how much weight you use, which means, he said a heavy, at opposite ends of the spectrum, again, heavy or light. And what happens then, you start combining the force and the weight, etc. The time, which is sustained or quick. Flow is in most handbell pieces, the flow is bound, which means it's laser focused. It goes this way as opposed to stop and smell the roses. Are you starting to get some ideas? My job is to present these ideas, and if I get the kind of musical results I want, yippee. If I don't, then I have to invent other words. Since my kids at school don't know the word dab, I use the word tap, and that means something too. And then we can adjust. So, if you take those effort elements and you start combining them, you get lots of possibilities. Quick motion with gentle force is one thing. Quick with a lot of force is another. And so, in the interest of time, that's what we're going to do. I have 3 pieces of music, and we're going to look at sections of them, and we're going to transform what we do. There just isn't time to go into all the different combinations, but it's her book. Oh, she did write a book. Duh. It's published by GIA, and it's called Musical Artistry from the Inside Out. Rudolf Laban said that the body is the instrument through which man expresses himself, and of course women too. It was back in the day when he said that, when it was always man. So the body is the instrument through which people, men and women, express themselves. I can't tell you how many people I see ring bells from here to here. Try to get a crescendo, and the only way they do is to whack it harder. It's not a crescendo. The body is the instrument. When I conduct, I cannot stand still. Speaking of standing, for me, and Kim agrees, a really good stance for handbells is 1 foot ahead of the other, because then you have some flexibility. This gives you no flexibility, and you might lose your balance. Is that clear? There are times when I want to see this. There are times when you need to do this. I'm still trying, 38 years later, I'm still trying to get my church choir to do that. My kids are a little better because it's new to them. So you have a packet, right? And do we have enough music for 1 for every 2 people? Are there any other positions open? I need to have people standing around who aren't ringing. You're right. And you know what? We could, if you're lucky enough to have 5 octaves, they're usually done in what's called Shelley, like one person has C6, D6, I mean C6, C7, D6, D7, D6. So all these little ones are used by people here. That's another story. But you're more than welcome to try this. I just don't know how much these are going to play, because they're
got some sevens over here too.
Pardon?
I've got some sevens over here.
Right. I think for this session, it's all right if we don't use them. How many people know how to do Shelley or 4-in-hand? So why are you ringing bass? That's fine. Yes. Do you all have the Take It to the Lord in prayer?
Yes.
Sandy Ethan, one of my dearest friends, lives in Wisconsin. I love the way she says that. I would like to read the first 8 measures, please. Yes.
Are there by any chance more notes to understand?
If you would like to trade, well,
Yeah, that would be better. You know, where's Bob? Bob, is it all right if we trade this notebook for a
they can have this one.
Is this all your, still me, bro? I didn't know you were gonna be here.
Now, is the newspaper?
So y'all are dividing them up differently.
Let's, did we solve the problem or no?
People have played like 3 or
All right, good. Anybody else having issues with the stand being too far away? Do we have any more packets? Please, one for.
We're good.
Here's a packet they can use.
All right, thank you. I don't want 3 people reading from a packet, please. Are you ready? Let's read just the first 8 measures. Do I need a baton? In church, I never use one. In school, I never use one except in concerts. So I'll try to be professional, but I think you'll be able to understand. We ready? 3, 4. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3. 4. And we're going to stop right here. All right. I may not use any more of this. This is a beautiful arrangement. How many of you know what you just played? Yeah, hear our prayer, O Lord, hear our prayer, O Lord, incline thine ear to us, and grant us thy peace. I haven't done that in 30 years probably, but it used to be a staple. It's a wonderful. So, take it to the Lord in prayer. This is a mixture, a medley of this and what a friend we have in Jesus, take it to the Lord in prayer. And then, you know, the Ken, I know, Medema. I knew Medema wasn't right, and I heard Medema, and this is a third one, Medema. Ken Medema song, Lord, listen to your children pray.
Yes.
If we have time at the end, which we probably won't, we could read through this. But I want to make some points about being more expressive in your playing. So the first thing is, when you see a note that's a quarter note or longer, I want your arm all the way out. I don't want it stiff, but some people ring like this. The next class, if you're in it, is what you see is what you get. This is not a dotted half note. This is a dotted half note. All right? So this time through, I want you to concentrate on all the notes. The quarters and the dotted halves. How's that? Oh, there's a half note too. I don't want to get to the dotted quarter 8 just yet. Beginning?
Do you want us to play as written, or do you want us to go ahead and play up since we're kind of filling in?
If you have the 7s, just play. I want you, here's what I want. I want you to experience what it feels like to do dab and glide and some of these other things. So, Sandy won't care. I don't care. It'll sound a little different, but it's okay. Beginning. Beginning. Were you able to concentrate that time a little more on a more sustained ringing? Now, let's address the dotted quarter 8th rhythm. which was one of the first times I realized that this was before her book was written, and I thought, wow, that's unmusical. What is it about? So don't look at the music. I want to do this. I always do things that when I want to teach, I do things by rote, which means you're not encumbered by the printed page. So here's the chord. Since we're in E flat major, let's take F, A flat, C, E flat. I want you to do hear our prayer, just that much. Hear our prayer. And. Directors? Okay. That's pretty good for directors. Directors, you know Arnold Sherman? He's another Texan. He's one of my mentors, and he said directors are the worst ringers. So I think that's pretty good for directors. So, remember we were talking about the amount of time it takes, sustained and quick. Right? So this is the dotted quarter is sustained, and and that's where I use the word glide, and then the eighth note is a dab. Too many groups play that eighth note with the same force, and it's late, it's too heavy, and God forbid you should only have that eighth note in a scale. Right? You've heard that. Directors are shaking their heads. You know what I'm talking about. So I want you to think glide, dash, glide. I think it's important, since we have a lot of directors in the room, that you model what you want for the ringers. The body is the instrument. It doesn't matter that I don't have a bell in my hand. I model what I want to see. Glide. Oh, wait a minute. There's that balance. A little forward. Glide, dab, glide, glide. And depending on the musical phrase, I might want to move. And bass spells, I want to say again, sometimes I work with middle school and high school kids, and sometimes that's way too hard. So you still glide, but your glide is more vertical. It's this way instead of this way. Does that make sense? Here's the mistake I've seen over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
And then they don't know when to come in on the dotted, on that eighth note. They're late. Why wouldn't they be? They stop their body. I do Qigong every morning, and it's about flow, and one thing flows into the next, and that's why I conduct the way I do. But as soon as Qi is life energy. I'm not going to give you, I'll teach another session on that. But Qi is life energy, and it courses through pathways called meridians, and as soon as you do this, you block the Qi, you stop the energy. Even if you don't believe in that kind of thing, think about that concept. As soon as you stop the motion of your body, you block the energy. It affects the musicianship too. So let's do another chord. This chord is G, B flat, D, F. I teach middle school, so I keep them on their toes. Change chords, change chords. And it gives you a chance to do this with either hand, right? Yes?
When we're gliding, is the bell out this way? Is it tipped up when you're gliding, or?
Fabulous question. I have an answer that I hope is equally as fabulous. Where does the sound come from on a handbell? Kathy knows. Yeah, it's not a trumpet. The sound is not coming from here. Thank you. That's basic technique, but it's a good question. And please, if you have other questions along the way, please ask. This session's for you. The bell should be upright because the sound comes from what's called the waist, the middle of the bell. And if you want to prove that in a hurry, do this, turn it so it's like a trumpet bell, do this and hold it up. And all of a sudden, people are doing it. So you want to send the sound out to the audience. If you do this, first of all, that's hard on your wrist. And the bigger the bell gets, the harder it is on your wrist. Second of all, you keep it upright. So the bell, the opening of the bell is pointing up, 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 up. I always tell my ringers I don't want to see the inside of your bell. I just saw the inside. I don't want to see the inside. I remind them that. That's huge. Directors, you ought to take some time to do directed warm-ups. I used to just say, okay, we're gonna start with this piece, and it was lousy. If I know that this features the dotted quarter eighth rhythm, I would do a warm-up so that, to prepare that. So here we go. The new chord is G, B, D, F. We still haven't read this yet. We did, but pretend we didn't. All right, here we go. 3, glide. Modeling, look at how much space I take for that eighth note. Not much. There's always some eager beaver who wants to do that. Now let's look at the music, please. Keep moving, damn. Take more time, right? So you could increase the space if it's appropriate. Do you see, if you keep the body moving, how you can be more musical by applying some of these? If you learn nothing else today, I think glide and dab can transform the musicianship. You see somebody doing this. When I saw people reading through it, there were people who do this. That's too quick. It needs to be more sustained.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Let's say that it's your melody line that has the dotted quarter and the eighth, and everybody else is playing quarters or a dotted half or something like that. I assume you're going to go ahead and show that for your melody line. Would you conduct it that way, or would you? How would you conduct that phrase?
The true life answer is it depends on who needs it. If I have a group that doesn't keep a steady beat very well, and I know that Susie up here can do that beautifully, I'm going to concentrate on that.
Sure.
That's really the best answer I have. I would never conduct the rhythms. Like, bum, bum, bum.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say never. I usually don't want to, but there have been occasions where I've had to for accuracy. Do you understand what I'm saying here about glide and dab? Oh, one last thing. I want to do this one more time. For me, that was about a mezzo forte. I want you to use less force, less weight. Less force, less weight. And I know you're not used to these bells, and they may be adjusted a little too tightly for you. But try to adjust the force that you're using. And another word for force, Laban says weight, W-E-I-G-H-T. Kim Strepka uses the word force. And I'm a convert. My kids understand force better than they understand weight. Beginning, gentler force. I sure did. You see the kinds of, this is not rocket science. More sustain, less space, a gentler force, and look how we transformed the opening of that piece. Good. Next piece, Clarion Call. I said to my 8th grade one year, I want to write a piece for you. They said, what do you want? They said, we want techniques. So I gave them techniques. We're going to work a little bit on page 4, but not yet. Not yet. I want to do a couple of rote warm-ups. Do you all have mallets? We may not have enough sets, but I think we do. I think, yeah, Bob says we should be good. one of the things I love about Kim's book is it really gives you some concrete evidence, not evidence, some ideas to help the musicianship. And one of the things that really needs help, I think, is melody, and marking, and mark lift, and thumb damping. So that's what the middle section of this piece is all about. You want to take a cold shower? Let's sight read until I stop you. I want to sight read 29 to 68. And then I want to show you how we're going to transform that in the next 10 minutes or so. Measure 29, triple meter, 1 sharp. I'll take a moderate tempo. You ready? 1, 2, and 3. Stop. 2 things. First of all, it's an F sharp.
Yeah.
Second thing, they're malleted. These are all bells. Please, I forget that not everybody knows all of these things. The sign for bells on the table with mallets is a plus sign. That's a sign for mallets. On the table, which means a staccato sign. So we borrow the sign from all music, right? So that will create a stopped sound. This is bound flow. It's very laser-like. It's not out here, whatever. Great question. About the same place that the clapper does, so slightly down. It depends on the size of your bell. You never want to hit it too close to the bottom of the bell. You can crack bass bells by doing that. Yeah, you can. And some people have, and then said to the bell company, "Is something wrong with my bell?" And they said, "Show me your mallet." Okay. Yeah, that's not covered under your warranty. Same thing with marks. We'll get to that in a little bit. But you strike it. If you look inside your bell and you see where the clapper strikes, now you're on the opposite side of the bell, but about the same place. So you know where it curves, somewhere between the edge of the bell and where it curves. You don't want to go below that. All right, so here we go. You changed my mind. In the interest of time, let's not sight read this. Just show me some. All right. We'll do a little bit. 1, 2, and 3. This is all malleted in through here, unless it's thumb damped, or marks, or mark lift. 37. 41. Mark lifts and thumb damps. Don't turn. I just made an executive decision. That's enough. Tell me. So I heard everything that I thought I might. Especially thumb damps, the bane of my handbell existence. Thumb damps. Okay, here we go. Malleting. This is what Kim Strepka says about malleting. You use gentle force. 2 things that will transform the malleting of your groups. Gentle force, not whack. I thank you, God, for making me a middle school teacher for all these years, because it's really good training. If I can get those guys to be musical, then I'm in good shape. So, gentle force, and here is a significant statement. Look at the visual. I'm going to show you the visual, then I'll tell you what it means. All right, even gentle force. Here's another picture. What Kim says is that you should draw the sound out of the bell instead of pounding it into the bell. This isn't construction work. You're not hammering, right? And that makes a huge difference. Let's try another chord. This chord is going to be A, C, E, G. I want you to play some quarter notes, and I want you to concentrate on down, down, down. Is that clear? So here we go. A, C, E, G, ready, and down, down. Oh, you're too good. Thank you. So if you take the melody apart, it's a gentle force with a quick rebound. Quick. If you do this, and ringers do sometimes, you know what happens, right? That muffles the sound. So it's this, this, this. Gentle force with a quick rebound. Ready? Same thing, and. Good. You're too good. But that's right. Did it feel a little differently? Just thinking about things that way could be helpful. And again, the body is the instrument. If you can feel that, and then get your ringers to experience that, and it's not always that easy. You're still going to get people in the heat of battle who do this instead of this. Kim's recommendation is that the kind of force used for melody goes from gentle to moderate. She never recommends going, and you know as well as I do, you've seen people just bang, 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 bang. Oh, and that's what it sounds like, bang, right? Okay, mart lifts. Marts, there are a few marts in here, not many. It's mostly mart lifts, and I don't want to do that. The bell companies, I think, both say that you can safely mart with medium to gentle force. See, that's the thing, a mart's gentle force. It's a stop sound. The sound that you get from that is completely, it is fine. You don't have to slam the bell down, and then it gets in the way of the musicianship, because it's not going to be a melody usually. So, gentle force. And let's experience what that feels like. I read a book that had a chapter on rhythmic feeling, which the author said, we spend too much time teaching notation. What we should be teaching instead is rhythmic feeling. How do those rhythms feel? And then as a corollary to that, he said, we try to derive too much meaning from the notation. You open it up and you try to figure out what it's about, right? And I don't know if this means anything to you, but it's one of the most revealing ideas that I've come across in recent years. Instead of trying to derive meaning from the notation, we should be bringing meaning to the notation. If I were doing this piece with my group, and we did it at my church for Pentecost one year. Do you know the term clarion call? Go listen to it on the Jeffers website or whatever the website, whatever Handbell publisher, not publisher. Where you go? You know what I mean. So I live on the East Coast, so Jeffers is where I go. Where do you buy music around here? Yeah, okay. Well, I just don't want to step on anybody's toes if there was some big company that I didn't know about. So, where was, March. I want a new chord. So, yes, clarion call, you can read what it means, but the companies say you can safely do it to a G3. And some people, to be safe, will only go to a C4. It's fine. But the companies have both said G3 is okay as long as you don't abuse it. Again, groups were going, look at what happened to my bell, it sounds awful. It had a stress fracture because they were marting too heavily. Don't do that. And then below that you do mallets, etc. So, if you want to be safe, don't mart anything below a C4. Depending on the music, sometimes I do B, A, G2. Here we go, new chord. We'll have B, D, F sharp, A. I want you to just do a mart on beat 1. Gentle force, and then keep the bell on the table. 1, 2, 3, go. Oh, that's gentle? If that's gentle, I don't want to hear strong force. The body is the instrument, gentle force. 3, less, 3, 4. Too much, less, and. The bell stays on the table, I should hear, thank you, 3, 4. too heavy, 3, 4. Too heavy. Oh wow, I'd love to have you for a semester. I don't disagree, these aren't your bells, they're not adjusted the way you like them, and maybe that they're too tight.
They're all set on soft also.
Okay.
And they're non-adjusted levers.
Oh, okay. Well, we won't go there. I go to festivals, a Walmart group is playing. I want it softer. The first thing you see are all these hands that go in. No. I want you to learn how to play softer. It's less force, among other things. Okay, now, it wasn't bad, but for my money, that's a little loud for Mark. Now, a Mark lift. Mark lift, yeah, this is the chatty corner.
I know.
All right, here we go.
Most of
Oh,
them
you've
are
got, yeah. Well, I was gonna say, you have the same t-shirts on. Okay, so, for a Mark lift, it takes slightly more force, and then it comes up. Because a Mark lift is a percussive attack, and then the bell sustains, yes? So here we go. New chord. We're back to C, E, G. No, we haven't done D, F, A, C yet, have we? All right, here we go. D, F, F sharp. D, F sharp, A, C. I want you to do a Mark lift on beat 1. Let's count in 3 since this section's in 3. 1, 2, play. 1, 2, 3. Too heavy. 2, 2. It's how quick the action is. Stop, thank you. I see this. You're not going to get any repeat of the sound. I should have a bell up here to demonstrate. May I just borrow something? No, I don't know what you're using. I'll take what you're not using. I wondered why this table was here. Now I know. No. That's the point of a Mark lift. All right, and this does have foam on it, I did check. I don't want to give Bob heart palpitations over there. So would you look please at 45? I want to hear Mark lift, Mark lift, Mark lift, Mark lift. We're not going to worry right now about when to damp that. That's another discussion. You ready? 45, only the people who do Mark lifts. It's from like a B, it's from a B4 to about a C6, I think. 45, 1, 2, and lift. Once again, we can do that. 1, 2, play. 2, 3. 2, 3. Oh, those are marks that time. Where are we? We're somewhere.
It's where I was.
Campus. What?
I said, it was where I was.
Okay, well that's good news. Thumb damps. Thumb damps, thumb damps, thumb damps, thumb damps. Gentle force. Here's what I don't like about thumb damps. I'm going to show you, and I can demonstrate clearly without a bell in my hand. These are the kinds of thumb damps I don't like. 2 things. Ouch, I just blocked all the chi that I worked on getting flowing this morning. Second thing, it's too much force. Thank you. I'm trying to see if some of these concepts are sinking in. It's too much force. Thumb damps are usually an accompaniment, light, but there's a follow through too. This is for my money, this is a good thumb damp. Not even this. You can use gentle force, but if you keep stopping, you're reinventing the wheel. You have to reinvest the energy. This way the energy is already started, and it's like a paddle wheel effect.
So you could just say, just keep it moving.
Yeah, this is how I teach thumb damps. And because, again, I live in middle school land, I don't thumb damp usually below a C5. It's just too awkward. It's pretty awkward for a lot of adults, too. You try to thumb damp a B4. Yeah. If you don't get a complete stop sound, you may have to use 2 or even 3 fingers. I'm just going at warp speed here because I'm looking at the clock. And if you have questions in between sessions, I don't have to stop. I'll be happy to answer any questions in between. So, thumb damp. Let's look at the thumb damp starting at 45, those who have it. And God bless you, C6, D6 people, because you have to go between martlets and thumb damps. You'll discover that eventually. 45? 45. Oh, Bob, will you do me a favor while I'm doing this? Can you pass these out? Oh, I need one, so, okay. Here we go.
One per or whenever.
I don't know. I think 2. I think I only made 25. Sorry. So 2. You ready? Here we go. The thumb damps at 45. 1, 2, and 3. Whoa, 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 whoa. I can tell by the first sound. Too much force. Force, thank you. Lighter, gentle force. Here's your homework assignment. Go home and figure out what gentle means to you, what gentle feels like. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. The other chord changes. 51. Thank you. Now, I wasn't watching, but this is what I heard. And I know by what I heard, this is what I'm going to see. No, it's punk, 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 punk. There's even a small continue. The sound continues. The flow continues. Does that concept make any sense instead of this? All right. And I know that's what I would have seen had I watched that, because it's what I heard. Everybody, please, starting at 45. And we didn't do the bass, but that's mallets on the table. 45, 1, 2, and 3. Less on the thumb dance. Don't turn. Thank you. Did you learn something from this segment? There's just a lot to learn. I've been doing this for about 10 years now. I met Kim 10 years ago, and she told me about this one day, and we sat to talk for the next 2.5 hours. And it just really changed my handbell life. These concepts, these movement vocabulary words can make a difference. All right, no music right now. The body is the instrument. What do you do when you have arpeggios? I just tried to pick some big examples. And arpeggios are some of the more unmusical things that I hear. Oh, and of course we go right to the handout, which is all right. But we're not going to look at the handout. If the body's the instrument, what does an arpeggio feel like? Okay, I didn't expect an answer, but that's fine. That's fine. So here's what I want you to experience. And when I do the chord teaching, I always use just 3 octaves because I have 2 sets. I haven't figured out yet how. Let's have the bass always be on 1 and 2. We have 2 bass ringers, 1 and 2. So will you number off in? Oh, this. I don't want this to take forever, but number off in 4s. 1, 2, 4.
No.
Okay, that's an answer I didn't anticipate. Let's start with 1 again, right? 1,
2, 3,
1.
2, 3, 4.
Oh, I said I wanted 1s again, so let's go back to 1, I think.
1.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3.
All right, so here's what I want to do. I want to practice a 4-note arpeggio. Da, da. Do you know what an arpeggio is? It's a chord that's broken up into individual components, which happens in a lot of music, right? So I want everybody to ring on beat 1. No, these aren't, don't even think beats, just 1. When I say 1, you're going to ring. But we're going to count in 4s. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Just the 1s. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can we go back to all naturals? I forgot that. 2, 3, 4. Thank you. Now, you know what's coming probably, right? 1, 2. 1, 2. What does it feel like to come in second on an arpeggio? Since I don't have a life, I ponder these things. Here we go. Ready? No, I do have a life, but I still ponder these things. 1, 2, ready, play. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you. Pop quiz time. What kind of space are you thinking about? What kind of time are you thinking about here?
The chorus.
Oh, you know, I'm an experienced teacher. I know that if I ask the right question, that I will get the answer I want. That's part of my fun. I didn't ask the right question. So here's the right answer. It's all sustained. It doesn't matter if you're one and. If you come in like that, that's what it's going to sound like. The body is the instrument. If you're going to come in on an arpeggio and you're the first, second, well, the first is easier. Second, third, fourth note. You have to prepare ahead of time. Then you can control the sound the way you want it. Not 1, 2, 3, 4. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and then it flows in a sustained motion. Too many people, their bodies get rigid and they stiff, even with let vibrate. Because arpeggios are beautiful when they're let vibrate. They aren't always let vibrate. Well, they aren't always beautiful either. But so here we go. 1, 2, 3, please. You know if you're a 3, you remember? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you. And now 4s. Got it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Ready? And a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you. You're really guinea pigs. I just wrote this yesterday because I was thinking we're going to look at Arnold Sherman's prayer, a little bit of it, which is a stunning piece. So it's got lots of arpeggios. And if your group doesn't have flowy arpeggios, it's not going to sound as prayerful as he might have liked. So, the next step is to look at these. You remember whether you're a 1 or a 2 or a 3 or a 4? Let's try exercise 1 and be careful because the pattern does change after a while. This is what I want to know. These are unison exercises. For how many of you is that a new concept? Unison exercise. Fair. Single staff. Notice that there's no clef, right? No clef. I assign certain notes, and we count off in 4, so you're a 1, a 2, a 3, or 4. It doesn't matter where you would read on the staff. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Usually these only have 2 notes, a line and a space. It's a great way to practice going from rote to the first steps in reading. But this may fail, I don't know. I just wrote it, let's see what happens. Let vibrate, I don't really care about the chords, the resultant sound. What I care about is what the musicality sounds like. What I care about is that you have 2 notes, and we have, you know how I set up the CD and so on. In that kind of assignment, the right hand is always a line, the left hand is always a space. And I'm mirroring. This is your right hand, this is your left hand. Got it?
The right hand is.
Right hand line. So if you're a 1 and you look at measure 1, you're going to play right hand, right hand, right hand, right hand. Starting in measure 3, the space. If you don't use this concept, this will probably be confusing, but it's worth trying. It's worth trying. You ready? Let's try it. And notice I'm not counting 1 and 2 and yet. I'm just counting in 4s. What? That's fine. I'm not sure that my explanation is really that clear. If you had number 1 before when you were playing, you look at this music and every time you see a 1 and it's on a line, you play your right hand. Every time you see a 1 and it's a space, it's your left hand. Give me feedback, because I could go home and rewrite this completely. I just want to see if it works. All right, here we go. I'm counting in 4s. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. this could be a good practice tool, and I don't want to take these home with me if you can find them useful. Take one. If you don't get one and would like one, email me and I'll send you a PDF of this. I think this could be a very helpful practice tool toward the goal of more musical arpeggios. I always like to end with music. Let's read. If I go over by a minute or two, is that the end of the world? I think you'll like this piece. You'll probably want to, it's like reading a good book, you're going to want to see what comes next.
Next one.
Arnold Sherman. I studied composition with him. He's a wonderful musician and human being and composer. Oh, yeah. You might need that for this piece, right? You're welcome. Beginning. This is what I want you to do. I've given you a lot to think about in this hour. I want you to see if you can use more gentle force. Gently flowing, that implies you're not stopping the body, you're not stopping blocking the energy. Is that clear? Beginning. 3 and 4 and 2 and, all right, let's start again. 3 flats, B, E, and A, and there are 2 E flat 4s in the room. 3 and 4 and 1. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and stop. It was fine. It was absolutely fine. Can we try speeding it up just a bit? 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and, oh, that sounds more like what he wrote. Thank you. 3, measure 3 and glide, glide, glide. Some dabs coming up. Dab, dab, glide, 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 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 7. 8, 9, 2 and 3, flowing, 1, 2, bass, you finally get to play, and 1, who has a B flat 3, somebody I hope, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 3 and 4 and 1. Glide, glide. More force, crescendo. And 2 and 3 and 4 and glide, dab, glide, dab, dab, glide. 21. 22. Dab, glide, glide, dab, 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 dab. 2 and 3, 26. 2 and 3, more force. 1, keep flowing. 4 and 1, 2. 3, 4, 1, 2, and let's stop here, please. Isn't that a beautiful piece? I did not know this piece. Thank you, Facebook. Because somebody said, we just did this. This is so beautiful. 1999. It was written a while ago. I know that some of you need a break, some of you, whatever, need to network. If you have questions, please see me and ask. I'll stand right here. I hope I gave you some things to think about, some musicianship, so that you can glide and dab your way to better musicianship.
Thank you, that was